Hey all, good to see you, Jean Moncrief here, and welcome to this Facebook Live session. Hope you can all hear me. For those of you who start joining, if you can't hear anything, just put it in the chat. If you have me looking over this way, then I'm kind of checking out what's going on over here on the chat side, and I've got some notes over here and you folks up there, so I'm paying attention to you. But yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Jean Moncrief. I help business owners to create more valuable businesses that they enjoy working in, and that ultimately, when come time to sell, those businesses are worth something to them. And today, I'm talking about how to fall in love with your business again, even if you're done with it. So most of the people who come to me, most of the business owners and entrepreneurs who come to me, have got to that stage where they go 1 foot out of the business. They've had enough, they're feeling trapped, they just want to sell the business. And this session is almost kind of this Facebook Live is almost a secret about the one thing they don't teach you in business school, and that's about the relationship you have with your business. So when you're feeling trapped and you're frustrated by this constant stream of problems that consume every waking moment in your day, it's very difficult to feel love for anything that you're involved in. And I get it. I've been there. I still have those days where I feel frustrated and it's difficult to feel love for the business. But have you ever stopped to consider that those feelings are something that you have control over, that you can choose to have? And after all, I mean, you created the business, so it's not some monster that's out there to get you. It's something that you nurtured and you created. And it reminds me of the movie The Little Shop of Horrors with Seymour, and he starts off with this lovely, tiny-looking little Venus flytrap, the plant that kind of grabs the flies as they come by. And he starts looking after it, nurturing it, and growing it up, and it's all wonderful in the beginning. But over time, the plant gets bigger and bigger and bigger until there's a point where the plant's going, "Feed me, Seymour, feed me," and kind of looming over him. And it pretty much looks like Seymour's about to be eaten by the plant. And some of us feel like that in our business sometimes. We get to that point where we feel like that we've created the monster and we've become the food that needs to feed that monster. And it happened to me. I was 40,000 foot over the Atlantic Ocean on a flight. It almost become a routine commute. And I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I just thought, geez, I'm hating what I'm doing at the moment. It's a bit longer and pretty much didn't like the person I was looking at. I'd strained relationships with just about everyone: my wife, my kids, my partners, my suppliers, my staff, my business. And I think this is something that we often miss. There's this strained relationship with a business, with this thing that you've spent the majority of your time in, that you've nurtured, you've built, you've grown over the years, and gets to a point where there's this very strained relationship. So the best way out seems to be sell the business. And I thought to myself, that's what I'm going to do. Walked back to my seat, sat down, cracked open another drink, and pulled out a notebook somewhere in the middle of the night, midway over the Atlantic, and started doing some calculations. Well, could probably sort of look at $1 million over there in revenue and $1 million over there, and pulled things together and came up with a figure of what I might sell the business for. Aircraft lands, wheels down, and I started speaking to a few people, only to realize that essentially the business is worthless. And the reason, primarily because I was at the center of the business. I was making all the decisions. I was kind of the hub of everything that went through that business. And so now I'm super unhappy. I'm at the center of all these strained relationships, a worthless business, and I simply hate what I'm doing. So I have a choice, and you have that same choice. Either you do lock up and kind of ride off into the sunset, and that's the end of it, which many business owners do. When you think about businesses going to market and selling, around about 20% of them actually sell. A huge portion are closed down, locked up, and the business owners sort of ride off into the sunset with nothing to show for it. And that's part of the reason I'm here. I want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. So the secret I'm about to share with you, I wish I had known at the time. And I simply buckled down, and made the best of a bad situation. I got obsessed with building value in the business. But only recently did I discover this whole idea, or this art of falling back in love with your business. I read this book by Debbie King called Loving Your Business. I'll put the link in down the bottom. She did a great job with this. But Debbie talks about working on this relationship that you have with your business and rekindling that relationship. And, the truth is, if you don't love your business, how can you expect anybody else to love it? How can you expect a buyer to be attracted to it? Your team's not going to love it. Your customers aren't going to love it. The market's not going to love it. And at most, you're just another mediocre business. And that's what's so sad. Most owners, by this stage, should be getting ready or looking forward to enjoying exiting the business and selling at a premium. And instead, they've got one foot out of the door, they're kind of edging out of the door, and they've almost abandoned the business because of this toxic relationship. So like any other relationship, in the beginning, it's super exciting and all you want to do is be with the person or the business. But over time, the relationship changes. And if you don't nurture that relationship, if you don't work on creating a healthy relationship with your business, you suddenly wake up wanting to run away and to abdicate responsibility. So for me, abdicating responsibility meant starting a whole new business on another continent, which is how I found myself midway over the Atlantic in a 747. And for other entrepreneurs, we all have our different flavors of escape, so to speak. New shiny object syndrome, food, alcohol, drugs, Netflix, gambling, travel, mindfulness. But there's this, you can't escape. There's this relationship that you have to work on with a business if you get to that point where you find that it's not worth what you expected and you want to sell it. And none of these things fix the underlying problem. Starting a business on another continent wasn't fixing the underlying problem I had in the business that brought me most of my revenue and the lifestyle I had. So you've got to fix that relationship, and fix it we must, because nobody wants to buy a business that you hate, as I said before. So what do you do? Well, the first thing is to break that cycle of negativity that you've got. If you're thinking negatively about your business, and you just want to be out of there, and what you're putting in is negativity, then things just aren't going to change. So you have to break this negative cycle. And unfortunately, we as humans have a tendency towards negativity bias. That is that we're easily convinced of that negative thoughts are the facts. It's why we love the news so much. And it's why my one piece of really good advice to you is to stay well away from the news. But Debbie offers this model. And very simply, it's called the model. I think Brooke Costello originally came up with it, and Debbie got it through her. But very simple, the model. And essentially, it breaks down things into sort of facts and opinions. So you have circumstances or facts, i.e., you have employees, and you have thoughts or opinions that are not great. So something like this. I have employees, fact. My employees are crap. Opinion. You're fueling this negative relationship with your business. So your thoughts are not, in fact, facts. They're your opinions. And because we're human, we tend towards the sort of negative thoughts. So let's go into another example here, right? Let's say an employee quits. Fact. Now you think to yourself, oh, geez, I got to do all the bloody work. How am I going to find somebody to replace this person? There's just so much already going on. And now I've got to fill in for what they did. And it's probably all a mess. And I'm going to have to fix it up. Yeah, let me know if this is if this is how you sort of typically react to this kind of thing. So that's your opinion. Or you take a more positive outlook. You've got to train yourself to do this, right? So we could say, well, I can use this as an opportunity to automate the role. So employee leaves. Well, that person's gone. Now I can finally automate this role and In the future, once I've got the processes in place, I don't have to rely on any specific person again. I can just hand over the process, whether it's hiring, marketing, whatever part of your business. So there's a different way of kind of thinking about it. Well, here's a more relevant example, given that we're talking about value building. You find out your business is worthless. So you could either think, holy crap, this is going to be all hard work and I might as well just lock up the shop and ride off into the sunset. That's an opinion. Instead, you could look at this as an opportunity to create something valuable that you can sell. You've already got this foundational base. But be aware, just if you had that thought, that positive thought, and it's kind of hasn't even had time to settle, you're already going to start thinking, oh, geez, this is going to be a monumental task. You know, I don't have to bring in consultants. I don't have to hire more people. I'm going to have to fix processes. I'm going to have to deal with cash flow. And you start to slip into this negative place again. So the trick here is to try and find specific focus areas and specific elements of the relationship you have with your business where you can start thinking about how you fix one thing at a time. Don't try and tackle it all at once. So yes, it's now the opportunity to build some value in this business. Let me start with this one big issue over here. Okay. So every day you're adding value to that big goal of improving the overall value of your business. Every day you're adding value to your business by fixing a specific challenge and thereby moving towards this goal of having something valuable you can sell. So you want to identify one big thing that you can fix to add value. That may be narrowing your niche to as a start. So, you know, you could, for instance, line up all the products and services you have. I can't tell you how many businesses I walk into that have got more products and services than I've had hot meals. Line them all up and decide which ones of those bring you the majority of your business, the 80% of your revenue. You know, and you'll probably find that 20% of them do that, the old 80-20 rule. And then just get rid of the other 80. Just the rest of them, you're not focusing. You're going to focus on this 20% of the business. This is what you're insanely good at. This is what your customers value. This is what gives you the most revenue. This is what your customers tell you you do insanely well. You know, over time, as an entrepreneur, we have this tendency to do more and more and more for our customers. But what happens is that we only kind of go a mile wide and an inch deep. And we're just not good at that inch deep stuff. But if you bring it back to that core niche focus, those core products, you're probably very good at them and you've got the skills in them, and you just get realigned with your market and focus on doing that as your first thing, as an example. You know, another one might be focusing on your lead generation system and just getting that lead generation working so that you know that you've got a constant flow of leads coming in. Or there's certain relationships in your business that you want to work on. You know, these are the things in my 8-week Success Accelerator program that I work on with clients. We focus on one thing at a time so that you don't have this feeling of overwhelm. And like any business, you know, if you can get, well, let me step back for a moment. If you can get this right, if you can work on having this positive mindset with your business and remove that tendency or that negativity bias, and you actually realize you're consciously aware of the fact that you have to be working on the relationship with your business, then you're one giant step toward building something that's more valuable. So recapping, like any relationship, your business reflects what you put into it. Your relationships are connections. You have your team, your customers, your products, your market, and you have to work on all of those relationships. But take it one step at a time. Each of those relationships is an opportunity. It's an aspect of your business that you can strengthen and you can work toward kind of adding value over time and gradually. And if on the flip side, if you're putting negativity into these relationships, you're going to get negative results. So you need to have this positive mindset and put those positive and be positive about those relationships. Constrain your focus so you can put your energy into the right places and you're not being distracted all over. You're very focused on what you've got to do. And that's the point of kind of getting rid of the products you don't sell or working on a specific part of the business. Focus on narrowing your mindset so that you're more inclined to rediscover what you love about the business and put your energy where you need to put it. And then maintain that focus, maintain that focus by sort of completing things and getting something done. So if you set those 8 weeks to get it done, you get it done, and you celebrate that victory and reinforce that positive mindset. If you look at this whole thing as an elephant, and I've got to say, I kind of am a 99% vegan. Occasionally mess up and have the odd bit of dairy, but and occasionally a bit of fish. But so no harm to elephants here. But if you look at this as a whole elephant, right? The old saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One slice at a time. And I'll leave you with that. So in closing, thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, put them into the chat, the comments in the Facebook thingy, and I'll go ahead and answer those. And if you enjoyed this, then hit the like button, share it, follow, subscribe, whatever those options are. And if you need some help with this, then head on over to letsgrowyourbusinessvalue.com. That's letsgrowyourbusinessvalue.com. I'll add that into the comments as well.